Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time for this week's team building video for the Pokemon Omega Ruby Rotation Battles. So as I've been doing in the videos, I'm choosing one Pokemon for my collection, which can be the Mega Evolution for the week, and I'm going to build the team around them based on type coverage and such. Now, based on the rotations I've been doing, I'm choosing the Pokemon that haven't been used very recently, and choosing them first, basically, looking at who hasn't been on the channel for a little bit, giving them a chance to shine. Technically, this week, it should be Dive Bomb my Gyarados, who is the Mega Evolution, but just 2 weeks ago, we actually had Gary the Gyarados, and I don't want to oversaturate with Gyarados on the channel, so we're going to save Dive Bomb for next week, actually. This week, we're going to skip ahead and choose Stinger the Beedrill to be the Mega Evolution. So he's going to be the Mega Team Captain, and we're going to assemble the rest of the team around him. Without any further ado, let's get right into the team building aspect and see who I've assembled, and the movesets, the held items, and the strategies that go with them. Let's begin. Our team captain for the week is going to be Stinger the Beedrill. He is a hasty Pokemon which increases the speed stat while lowering defense, which isn't too bad because Beedrill don't have the best defense to begin with anyway, so lowering that a little bit more isn't really going to be that big of a problem. And the ability is Swarm, so if he is low HP, his Bug-type moves will become a little bit stronger, but the moment he Mega Evolves, thanks to the Beedrill that he is holding, the ability becomes Adaptability. It turns the same type attack bonus from 50% stronger to 100% stronger, essentially doubling the power of moves of Beedrill's type, which is Bug and Poison. For the moveset, to make use of the adaptability, we do have Poison Jab and Twin Needle. Both have a good chance to cause poison in the opponent, and I like to run Twin Needle as opposed to things like X-Scissor or U-Turn, because although those moves are stronger, there is a chance, or two chances actually, to poison with Twin Needle, and each Twin Needle attack is 25 power, but thanks to adaptability it's going to be 50, so combined you're getting 100 power from one Twin Needle. He also has Drill Run to deal with some of his weaknesses, and if we see any Primal Groudon, he might not survive a hit from a Fire-type move, but we can possibly get some good damage off using Drill Run, and since it has a high chance to cause critical hits, we could maybe get a knockout with Drill Run. Now, Endure is a move he cannot relearn. It was something that he had from a previous generation, and since the first turn when you Mega Evolve, Speed Stat doesn't really come into play as far as calculating who goes first, a lot of people like to run Protect on a Pokemon that gains a speed boost from Mega Evolution. That is because on the following turn, when you start already Mega Evolved, your boosted speed stat is going to be calculated for who goes first, turn order. And I could teach him Protect, but I like Endure because it is a move he can't relearn, so it's a little unique in that way. But if I do expect I might be outsped by the opponent, I can always Endure on the first turn, and on the following turn after Mega Evolution, Stinger will probably be outspeeding a lot of Pokemon on the opposing side. For his Super Training, you'll see we did max out the attack stat and the speed stat, put a little bit tiny into the defense, not that it's making much of a difference, but we wanted to max out the attack and speed, try to get as much investment into those two stats as possible. The first Pokemon joining Stinger this week is going to be Springer, the Greninja. Stinger and Springer, together at last. Springer is a lonely Pokemon, which is an increase to the attack stat while lowering defense. And of course, like all regular Greninja, he has the Torrent ability. This was my in-game starter from, was it Sycamore? Yeah, whoever gives you the starter in X and Y. So he doesn't have Protein, he is basically your regular kind of a Greninja. He's holding Lychee Berry, which is an item that if you get low HP, it's going to boost your attack stat. And we're going to make use of that by using his last move. You'll see Substitute, but I'll explain that in a second. First of all, we do have Waterfall, which is a stab move and has a chance to cause a flinch. And Springer is pretty fast, so he might outspeed a lot of opponents, possibly getting that flinch. Now, normally I have Aerial Ace on him to deal with some of his weaknesses of Bug and Fighting and Grass as well. But this week, I think Ice Punch is going to be a lot more beneficial because I'm expecting to see some Mega Evolutions in the form of perhaps Mega Rayquaza. So Ice Punch will be super effective against that, plus any, it's good for type coverage for the whole team, basically. Now, if the opponent is going to start setting up any stat boosts, we do have Haze. We're going to be able to completely erase the stat boost of everything on the field. I think that gets rid of stat boosts from things that are rotated out also. I'm not exactly sure, but we're possibly going to find out this week. And the final move is Substitute. So, since I probably am going to outspeed with Springer, we can rotate him in and go for a Substitute just to try to burn some turns of perhaps a weather condition or something like that. And once we get enough Substitutes up and he goes low HP, he's going to eat that Lychee Berry, which is going to increase the power of his Waterfall and Ice Punch by boosting his attack stat. For his super training, you'll see we put everything we could into the speed, maxed it out, put a good amount into the attack, so at level 100 we have 276 attack, and I put a little bit into the HP just to get it above the 300 mark, trying to get some more power, or like some more life I should say, into those substitutes, so that it possibly can survive a hit so it won't be broken immediately. The next Pokemon on the team for this week is going to be Dracotini. He is a serious Pokemon, which is a neutral nature, so nothing is lost or gained from it, and the ability Shed Skin, if he is affected by a special condition, there's I think it's a 1 in 3 chance at the end of each turn that he's going to cure himself of that. Now, since he cannot take hits, he's an unevolved Pokemon, defenses are very bad, he's holding Focus Sash. I do this a lot of the rotation battles, is have a Pokemon with Focus Sash as more of a support kind of a Pokemon, and you'll see the moveset kind of makes sense of that. So first of all, just for some super power, we have Draco Meteor. I just like the thought of a little Dratini summoning a rain of meteors down upon the opponent. And if we're facing any Mega Rayquaza, we will survive one hit with the Focus Sash, and I'm expecting they'd probably go for the Dragon Ascent, because that seems to be the move to play when you're going Mega Rayquaza. We're going to be able to survive the hit with Focus Sash, possibly get the Draco Meteor off, and with the lower defenses of the Mega Rayquaza, I wonder if we'll get a knockout. We'll find out. And I have Water Pulse on here too, basically for coverage and the chance to cause confusion. I believe it's like a 30% chance for confusion. And if we're facing a Primal Groudon, of course, the Water Pulse will not have any effect, but anything else we're going to be able to get some damage off on and maybe confuse. Now, Thunder Wave is one of the main things that we're going to see Dratini use this week. He'll survive a hit with the Focus Sash and possibly paralyze anything but a ground type, or electric I should also say, with that Thunder Wave, getting some speed control on our side of the field, and my opponents will be a little bit slower than perhaps some of the other Pokemon that I can rotate in on the next turn. And just in case they go from some special conditions, we do have Safeguard. I like to have Safeguard on the team sometimes, just in case they're going to go for a burn or something. We can get the Safeguard up, preventing my entire team from taking a special condition for 5 turns. For Dratini Super Training, we maxed out his speed and his special attack, since he's more of a special attacker this week. I used to run him as a sort of defensive kind of a Pokemon, but his natural defense stats are just not very good, so he's not likely to survive hits to begin with. That's why he's holding Focus Sash instead. The next Pokemon on the team for the week is going to be Medusa the Onix. Now, she is a hardy Pokemon, which is a neutral nature like Dratini, so nothing lost, nothing gained, and the ability Sturdy, there's a lot of good strategy here that could possibly pay off. Now, it works a little bit better in single battles, it could work in the rotation, and I want to give it a try this week. Sturdy means that when Medusa is at full HP, no attack is going to one-shot knock her out, so she will survive with at least 1 HP. The idea I'm hoping for is they're going to go for a super effective move on her. So the Sturdy will make sure she doesn't faint, like the Focus Sash kind of thing. She is holding the Weakness Policy, which will sharply boost her attack and special attack. And Onix doesn't have the best offensive stats, you'll see. Well, special attack itself is 74. Ignore that, we're not going special based. Attack is 159, which isn't terribly well, but we're going to try to boost that with the Weakness Policy. And the strategy with her is, first of all, the last move you'll see is Rock Polish. When I bring her up to the battlefield in the front spot, we're going to go Rock Polish. That's going to be the way we start this strategy, which will sharply boost her speed, getting up over 400 at level 100. Then if the opponent does go for a super effective move, and there's a lot of super effective moves against an Onix, there's Grass, Ground, Water, Steel, Fighting, just to name a few. That might be all, actually. But anyway, once they do hit with a super effective move, the Weakness Policy will activate, sharply boosting her attack stat, essentially getting up to about 320. That's when we're going to start going offensive. She has Rock Slide, which could cause a flinch, thanks to her speed stat from the Rock Polish boosting up. And it is Stab also. Earthquake is there for coverage, and it's also Stab, getting some good damage off. Iron Head is there to possibly cause some flinching as well, and we're going to use that against anything that might be resistant to the Rock Slide and or Earthquake, or if it's super effective against perhaps, say, a Fairy type. And of course, like I said, Rock Polish is going to sharply boost her speed. The super training is to max out the speed as high as we can get it. We also max out the attack stat. It doesn't look like it here for some reason, but it is. And we put the rest into the HP just to give a little bit more there. The 5th Pokemon for the week is going to be Blitz the Raichu. Blitz is a mild Pokemon which increases the special attack stat and lowers defense. And that's not the worst thing because, much like Beedrill, Raichu are not known for physical defense. So losing some of that to gain some special attack stat is not bad. He's got the static ability, so if the opponent physically connects against him, there is a chance that the opponent will become paralyzed. And he's holding Air Balloon. Now, in some past battles, I've noticed that if I send Blitz in one of the two back spots of the rotation platform, it actually doesn't show the opponent that he's holding the Air Balloon. It only happens if you send him into the front spot. So it's a little bit of a sneaky, underhanded strategy, but it's certainly one I'm going to make use of. They're not going to know he's holding the Air Balloon, so they might go for a ground move when I rotate him up, and we're going to be completely free to ignore that. So the moveset is Thunderbolt, is good stab power, could get some paralysis. Grass Knot is going to be there to deal with any Primal Kyogre that might show up, and other types that's going to be super effective on as well. And Feint is a move he can't relearn. It's a Pikachu-only move. If the opponent is going to possibly try for a Protect or something like that, we can Feint and break through that and get off a little bit of a hit. Feint really works better in a double battle where you can break through the opponent's Protect and your other Pokemon can get a hit in. But since it's a move he can't relearn, we're going to try to make use of it this week in the rotation battles. Now, to help the team out, Blitz does have Light Screen. We're going to increase our special defense against the opponent by 50% for 5 turns. I think it's 50% for 5 turns. Anyway, the super training. We did max out the speed. We did max out the special attack. Blitz is going to be hitting pretty heavily on the special side this week. And we just threw the remainder of the super training into the special defense. The final Pokemon for the week is going to be the Brain, the Hypno. The Brain is a serious Pokemon, always trying to take over the world, and he has the Insomnia ability, which says he will never fall asleep on the job. He's holding the Leftover since he is pretty defensive, not so much physically, but he is especially defensive. So if we manage to survive some hits, he's going to be able to heal up. And the moveset is, we got Psychic on there. We did have Hypnosis. The idea with Hypnosis could be to put them to sleep, and then maybe if they're sleeping, we can heal up between turns with Leftovers. But I decided we need some more type coverage this week, so I replaced it with Psychic for some stab power. He also has Focus Blast, which is also for coverage. It's going to deal with his Dark type weakness as well, but it's not that accurate. So you see the third move is Telekinesis. Once you use Telekinesis on a Pokemon, it gets hurled into the air for I think 3 turns, and it makes it essentially like as if they have the No Guard ability. Any attack, except for I think the one-hit KO moves, will hit with full accuracy. Suddenly Focus Blast is going to land every time. Now we've also included Reflect for the week. It's going to increase the physical defense for the team. So based on the team preview, if I expect the opponent's team is going to be more special offensive, I can bring Blitz for defense. If I think they're going to be physically offensive, I can bring the Brain. Of course, if they're mixed, I can bring both. The super training for the Brain was to boost up the special attack quite high, put a lot into the physical defense and a little bit more into the special defense, getting the physical to 200, special defense to 249. This is the team for week number 6 of the Pokemon Omega Ruby Rotation Battles in the free battle in Battle Spot. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the movesets for these guys, any suggestions you might have for improvements, and things that I can put into play in future battles. With that, we're going to end off this video. I hope you come back to the channel tomorrow and check out the actual battles once they go up, and see how well we do this week in the rotation battles in Omega Ruby. Thank you for checking out this team building video, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.